and humidity. You are here, oh boy. Thank you for your kind words.
Question for Mr. Lamarr.
So a bit, a testimonial, and a question. Okay, good. Everybody got that? Everybody got to have 3. Go ahead,
For Mr. Lamarr, from being shot in the face from Pulp Fiction to...
Spoiler!
to even being in video games, what was, when you were voice acting, what was the one scene that you were most passionate about? Doing your thing. What was one thing that you was like, man, this is what I strive for. I woke up out of bed today and you know what, I'm going to give my all. Like, what was your most clip, I would say, voice acting that you were most passionate about?
I mean, generally speaking, the job is you show up and you give 100%. You leave it all on the floor. But I would actually say there is one episode of one show that was maybe even a little more so. In the new season of Samurai Jack, season 5, there is an episode, a really emotional episode where Jack is facing death. Basically, he's in his head trying to convince himself to commit suicide. And I knew that episode was coming up to record. And I think it was a combination of, it was very, very heavy, emotional, you know, work. It's a very emotional scene, but also because we had come back to the show after being away for 14 years. So, like, you know, it was one of the few times where you knew that this was part of a legacy and that people were going to be watching, and that, so the pressure to get it right was even more than just the usual show up and be good, you know? So I would say that one was probably mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this one's going to go for all of you, and it's actually more of a request than a question. In your most iconic voice, say Rasengan while you say my manwich.
At the same time?
No, individually, of course.
Manwich. Is that what you wanted? Sure, that's it. The Emmy goes to
Rasengan!
I don't do requests.
My voice will see you Thursday.
Thank you for the silly request.
That way you didn't say it. You gotta say it then.
Like Zoinks Van Rasengan!
I just want to ask, any answer, I guess, what's a good warm-up for when you're getting ready for a session?
Tequila.
I put each of their headshots on the mirror and I'm like, be the film. Gets me warmed up. It takes about 3 hours. But once I'm warmed up and ready to go, I'm ready.
I would say eat a good meal. It helps lubricate the pipes.
Have someone else pay for that meal also.
I love that play.
So now, are you on the phone or are you making your question off the phone?
Because I love y'all and I follow y'all so much. But I have one for Principal Perry if you would let me.
Alright, squad mug.
How was the transition from acting on TV to voice acting?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to get up early for voiceover, but for TV, they drag you in really early in the morning. And you work really long hours. And you have to wear pants, generally, but not underpants. So,
You do?
we'll talk later. You know, everybody's done all sorts of acting jobs, but that's the main thing. You're not getting hair and makeup, and people aren't all over your face all the time, like putting on pointy ears. Yeah, you know, you literally. I mean, I had a guy named Mr. Wong like up here as he was putting a harness on me. You can have no shame. You know what I mean? When you're, especially on a Disney show, you have no shame because they have you doing crazy stuff. So you get to know everyone very well. You know, when they're binding you into a harness. And that's it. And voiceover, you know, it's great. You wear what you want, you sit in the chair if you want to. I always stand up doing Naruto because of the screaming. And it's usually very short, you know, 4-hour workday, if that. Sometimes, you know, I'll go into other shows I've done and it literally will be like 3 lines. And then I'm like, thanks, and I leave and, you know, get a paycheck. But I like them both. I think probably everyone would say we like it both.
Do you guys know where the 4-hour workday came from? Because there's a sort of industry standard that a voiceover workday is 4 hours long. And it comes from the old days when there were only like 6 guys doing all the cartoons. And like there was Hanna-Barbera and there was, you know, Filmation and stuff. It's like, hey, we need Mail today too. You don't need them all day, do you? No. So they created this, and it's actually the only place in like, you know, union work where you get paid a full day's wage for less than 8 hours. Because they realize like, it's not gonna take, you know, Dawes Butler 8 hours to do Huckleberry Hound. So I'll get him in the morning and you get him on your show in the afternoon. You know, 9 to 1, 2 to 6. Because it works for the producers.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Wow. Well, and also, you know, so for example, when I worked on a show called Sergeant Frog, which was less, their work schedule was not as enlightened as what Phil just talked about. I would record that show from 10 to 6 and then 6 to 10. We recorded, and I had roughly 326 lines an episode. And so we would do volume, like episode 50 from in the morning to the evening, and I would lay down in the booth and I would take a 20-minute nap, and then I would record from 6 to 10 in the evening. That's just how we do things in Texas. And with Fairy Tale, 8 hours. I would record on Fairy Tale, yelling what you just heard when I did my jutsu. That's a little bit of all the yelling that I would do. So it's nice to go in LA when we're recording, because there are those sessions like for a Call of Duty session. I mean, there's 4 hours. It might as well be 40 hours because your voice is gone in the first 20 minutes, really, 20, 30 minutes.
Good thing you're not in the right to work to death state.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 9 hours of Call of Duty.
So that was a nice change for that.
I started doing animation just after the Civil War. And you guys had it easy. We had to line up the cells on a picket fence down a dirt road. If you wanted to watch the cartoon, you ran down the road real quick. We had to run after them doing the voices. Don't tell me.
All right, here we go. Ready for take 15? We're revving up the mic. Here we go.
A lot of voiceover people were in really good shape.
Yeah.
There are people here. I thought it was just us.
In the spotlight.
First off, thank you very much for all the work you do. You guys have done amazing work, and you made my childhood. Like, I love all of your shows. Yes, all of them.
Technically, your parents made your childhood, but we're glad to be a part of it.
So I have a question for you.
You'll get that one 10 years from now.
What's that?
I have a question for you. What was it like working on Samurai Jack, and what was your favorite episode of Samurai Jack?
It was a great process. I mean, every once in a while, you get lucky enough to work with somebody who's that creatively, you know, fertile, like Gendy Tartakovsky. And it was a great show. You had the storyboard artists coming up with the ideas, so everybody was invested in everything. And also, Gendy's one of those people who, to me, is the best kind of director. They have a very specific idea of what they want, but at the same time, they're open to your ideas, you know? It's like, what if I do this? Like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good too. You know, so you're not, you know, left out to sea trying to guess, but at the same time, you're also not being like puppeteered. Say it like this, you know? As far as favorite episodes, I've got a bunch of them just because that show's so, I consider that show a work of art. It's a great one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we got a few more questions to ask. Real quick, I know we're coming close to the end, but it's actually a request for Squidward. I know you don't like requests, but we definitely want to see the Squidward dab.
Now, that's an interesting story. When I first heard about the dab, I didn't really know what it was. And people would come to my channel and say, it's Squidward dab, so I would do it, and they would all go nuts. And then I learned that I was doing a con in Orlando, and some of the employees of Universal came over, and they said during their parade they had there with the people in costumes, Squidward dabbed, and he got fired. And I said, well, why in the world did he get fired? I thought it was a dance move. And apparently, it is a vague drug reference. What? So I can do it, but that's about it. Tell no one.
Probably heroin.
It's actually a marijuana.
So, you guys do animation, you guys have already told this is the end of your show, your animation, and they surprisingly really come back, like Futurama, you know, animated, where you guys had that Simpsons crossover, and then finally you had, you finished Naruto Shippuden, and you had Naruto. Yeah, so, you guys, I don't know if SpongeBob's ever...
Don't forget Invader Zim.
Invader Zim.
Did anyone see the special?
Yes!
Did you like it?
Yes! I want to go. Yeah, so all these comebacks, and do you guys ever get surprised getting a call back?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Always.
Always.
We're always surprised at the next session.
Yeah, I think we're all surprised when we see it.
Very thankful.
Thanks.
So, fortunately, I think we're running out of time for questions.
But it's Batman Day, isn't it? She's wearing a Batman hoodie.
We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay, one last question. Shoot the last question.
I am vengeance.
So it's good to see you again. My question is for all of you. What would you guys be doing if you guys weren't actors?
I would be a meteorologist. I come from the Midwest, so I always love the weather, and it's just free-form kind of stuff.
I would have a big old animal sanctuary where I would make it for every kind, because sometimes people specialize in like, I'm just going to handle farm animals. We're going to have a little pocket everywhere for all sorts of animals, and have schools come in and learn about the animals and volunteer for the day and work with the animals. And then we're going to hire ex-armed forces guys to create a militia to go to the places where the animals are being poached and hunted, and they're going to be hunted and poached. And it's going to be a huge thing. Huge.
And I would tell them what the forecast was going to be for that sort of thing.
That's right. This will open a can of worms, but I would be a spy. I was going to be a spy. My dad was a spy. Yeah, that's another panel. That's it.
Tell me more.
Ukrainian. No, well, let's see. I have a degree in English literature, so I'm probably working for those big money English firms. Or, you know.
They see Phil rolling, he's writing.
And by that I mean I would be a teacher.
If you weren't Batman, who would you be?
Maybe Batgirl.
Batgirl?
Now you can be Batwoman. On the CW this fall.
Bat hoodie.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, since we have everyone out here, we
We were wondering if we could do a big request so we could all take a selfie.
Sure.
With the audience.
Yeah.
That'll be $1,000, folks.
So I guess we'll get.
Keep your clothes on, okay?
Oh wow, there you are. Yeah, yeah, you brought your own ladder.
Quasimodo.
She's been up there.
Shooting down our shirts.
3, 2, 1, 4.
One more.
We're gonna say Instagram. 3, 2, 1, Instagram.
Thank you so much for coming out. I want to give everyone a round of applause for our guests, Todd Haberkorn, Rodger Bumpass, Maile Flanagan, and Phil Lamarr. Thank you so much for coming out.
Shh, everybody be quiet. Rodger needs to sleep anywhere.